Imagine, if you will, a world just suddenly plagued by errors, inexplicable ones, widespread inefficiency, just a baffling cascade of mishaps across every single sector.
Yeah, total disarray.
So profound that the FBI director himself, this is back in 1973, he basically threw his hands up saying, "We don't know what it is."
Right. Utter confusion at the highest levels.
So today we're doing a deep dive into that exact mystery. We're looking at firsthand accounts from a very resourceful FBI agent, some confidential reports, and frankly, surprising insights from people with some truly extraordinary abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission here is to unpack this unprecedented global confusion. We want to understand not just what happened, but who was behind it, how they pulled it off, and maybe the biggest question, why? Why did it matter so much to the fabric of society?
Yeah, and by the end of this, you'll get a kind of shortcut to understanding how chaos, even chaos that looks completely random, can sometimes be part of a plan, a very calculated, maybe deeply disturbing plan.
It's interesting because FBI Director Burris, the one I mentioned, he even pointed out how in the past they always had someone to blame. Right?
Exactly. He mentioned enemy aliens, wobblies, fellow travelers,
Right.
even insane telepaths, convenient scapegoats.
But this time, 1973, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No easy explanation, no obvious enemy. He was genuinely baffled.
And it started so small, didn't it?
Yeah, not with a bang.
Yeah.
Really subtle. The very first concrete signs.
Right
inside the FBI itself. Just many errors occurring in the paperwork, more than usual. That was the first ripple.
And that ripple spread fast
Mm-hmm.
and far. We're talking about this systemic inefficiency gripping the whole country. You had Representative Keller of Idaho
Yeah.
delivering a speech just full of factual errors that the press apparently cut into pieces.
Okay.
Then a tiny numbering mistake on a House bill delays it for 2 whole months.
Yeah.
Communications getting lost, diverted, scrambled, just utter confusion.
I remember reading about the freshman senator.
Yeah,
Thought he was talking to his girlfriend on a secure blank vision circuit.
yeah.
Turns out he was talking to his wife.
Oh, no. Definitely not the mistake you want to make.
No.
And all this, it added up. The source material says, inefficiency of a kind, an extent that hadn't been seen since the Harding administration 50 years before.
Wow. Half a century.
And it wasn't just things going wrong. People were leaving.
Yeah.
An unusual number of resignations, 5 senators in 1 year, 3 cabinet members.
And the reasons given were what? Ill health, old age,
Mm.
standard stuff.
Mostly. But then you had young Senator Farnsworth resigning because of delusions of persecution. That starts to sound a bit different, doesn't it?
But it really does. It feels like the gears of society were just grinding, jamming up. And it wasn't just government.
No, it bled out everywhere. Even the criminal underworld felt it. A police captain apparently killed 2 aides and himself.
Jeez.
A big-time mob boss, Primo Palveri. His operations just fell apart. A shipment vanished. Men ended up wounded or dead.
And the truckers union leader, Mike Sand, lost his contacts, his books.
Vanished. Which for him, that's basically game over.
So even essential services were hit.
Oh, yeah. Las Vegas, of all places, had 3 telephone service breakdowns in just 2 weeks. Think about Vegas relying on comms.
Yeah, that's critical.
And the stock market. Described as going up and down like a regular roller coaster, even the financial experts couldn't make sense of it.
And then the really unsettling stuff, these seemingly random deaths.
Right. A Las Vegas casino owner, the last stand, took his own life. A state's attorney, Schellenberger, died in a suspicious accident during a police chase.
It's like some invisible chaotic force was just touching everything.
Mm-hmm. The sheer volume of it is what stands out. One source put it, more was happening in the good old United States inside of 24 hours than ordinarily happened in a couple of months.
So normal chance, bad luck.
Yeah.
That just doesn't cut it as an explanation.
Not for this scale of disruption. Resignations, deaths, arrests, freak accidents, all piling up. The real challenge was finding the cause, that invisible thread.
Which brings us to this FBI agent, Kenneth J. Malone. Mm-hmm. Quite a character.
Yeah, he's central to figuring this out.
Uh-huh.
And he has this unique skill.
He can teleport.
He can teleport instantaneously, which, as you can imagine, kind of unnerves his boss, Burris.
I bet.
But Burris admits it's useful. Malone apparently learned how after catching other people who could do it.
Okay, so Malone, this practical guy with an extraordinary ability, where does he start looking?
Logic. Widespread errors? Maybe it's the machines. So he gets Fred Mitchell, the FBI's computer guy, to check the government computers.
And Mitchell's reaction?
Initially, he's almost insulted, laughs it off, says computers don't have a pig Latin circuit, calls the check absolutely unnecessary, very protective of his machines.
But Malone insists.
He does. And what Mitchell finds is chilling. The computers themselves, perfectly fine.
Okay.
But their input and output didn't agree. Meaning the errors weren't mechanical. They were happening before the data even got into the machines. Widespread, uniform errors among the human technicians.
Ah, so human error, but systemic.
Exactly. Mitchell was furious, concluded it was being done on purpose. He apparently said anyone who deliberately feed bad data to a computer would kill his own mother and then lie about it.
That's quite a reaction.
Huh.
Shows how seriously he took data integrity.
Absolutely. So the human angle opens up. Malone needs another perspective. He goes to consult Her Majesty.
Right, the telepath in the FBI facility who thinks she's Queen Elizabeth I.
That's the one. And she detects something. Tremendous bursts of static. That's how she describes it.
Psychic stats.
Yeah, like a sudden, meaningless, disturbing blare of telepathic energy. She compared it to bright, senseless snowstorms on an old TV screen.
Weird. Did she know what it was for?
That's the thing. She noticed it started around when Malone got the case, thought it might be beamed at you or beamed around you. But the purpose, she admits, I don't even know whether or not there is any purpose. Still meaningless. It's just there.
Okay, so psychic static, but no clear intent detected yet. Where does Malone go next?
To get a more academic take on psionics, he visits Dr. Thomas O'Connor, a psionics expert. Stern guy, apparently. Not much for small talk.
And O'Connor confirms psionics are real. Telepathy, PK.
Reluctantly, yes. He confirms telepathy, psychokinesis, even teleportation exist. But he adds something crucial about telepathic projection, forcing thoughts onto someone else.
What about it?
He says it takes tremendous psychic energy, usually only happens a final burst immediately before death, or it leaves the sender incredibly weakened. It could only happen in short bursts.
Ah, so sustained, widespread mind control seems unlikely based on that.
Exactly. It throws cold water on the idea of some massive, continuous psionic attack controlling everyone.
But them, the spies.
Right. The interrogation of the 3 Russian spies, Alexis Brubich, Ivan Borbich, and Vasily Garbich. Initially, stonewalling. Completely uncooperative. Until during Brubich's interrogation, Her Majesty, who's monitoring psionically, detects another one of those tremendous bursts of static coming from Brubich's mind. And immediately after, Brubich just starts confessing. Everything. The same thing happens with the other 2 spies. Static burst, then total confession.
Okay, that's a connection. The static seems linked to a sudden change of heart. A reversal of policy, as the source puts it.
Precisely. And the spy's confession is also weird. They describe their own spy ring as incredibly inefficient, always dealing with forgotten messages, mixed orders, misplaced documents, and strange mishaps.
Huh. So the confusion was affecting them too.
Seems like it. One FBI agent apparently whispered, "They're almost working on our side." Brubich even mentioned getting orders via shortwave radio, but often the radio did not work. The chaos was impartial.
So you have psychic static linked to confession, spies admitting their own incompetence due to the chaos. But what does the FBI director, Burris, make of all this?
Burris lands on a neat, tidy, official explanation. The Russian spies did it. They caused all the confusion.
What was the proof?
The proof was a trace of one of the psychodrugs found in the water cooler used by those computer technicians who were making the input errors.
Ah, the technicians.
And since it was Brubich's job, apparently, to change the water cooler jug, he gets the blame. Burris claims these drugs could make people abnormally suspicious or mess with their judgment completely at random. Case closed.
But what about the static? The easy confessions? Her Majesty's input?
Dismissed. Burris just says spies can lie. They usually do. He completely waves off Malone's concerns.
So Malone's left feeling this is way too simple. A cover-up? Or just convenient?
He calls it mental soap suds, just enough to wash the problem away officially, but Malone's not buying it. He knows something else, something bigger is going on.
Okay, so Burris has his official story, but Malone's digging deeper. He doesn't accept the spy explanation.
Not at all. It feels wrong. Too neat, like you said. He's frustrated by the lack of pattern, the meaningless clues, so he falls back on classic detective work. Method, motive, opportunity.
Right. Breaking it down.
For method, he jots down little bursts. Who knows cause? Psionic. Look for psionic people. That points him back towards the psychic angle.
Okay. Motive.
Confuse things. Disrupt entire U.S. Why? Set U.S. up for invasion. Martians. Russians. Then he adds a note. CK. Is Russia having trouble? Remembering the spy's own issues.
Good point. If Russia's also messed up, it's probably not them. What about opportunity?
That's the big blank. Just a question mark. But thinking about the kind of organization that could pull this off, that's the key.
What kind of organization would it have to be?
It would need to be large, old, disguised, and efficient. Critically, it would have to be somehow immune to the confusion it was creating.
Okay.
And composed of, intelligent, superbly cooperative people, operating completely under the radar.
Large, old, disguised, efficient, immune, intelligent, cooperative. Who fits that bill?
And that line of thinking leads Malone somewhere completely unexpected. A group he'd only recently contacted for basic info on psionics, the Psychical Research Society.
The PRS.
The PRS, the academic sounding group. Exactly. Suddenly they fit the profile, they were large, they were definitely old, founded back in the 1880s. And when he asked them for info, they provided it so quickly, so efficiently, almost too efficiently maybe.
So he suspects them? How does he check?
He calls their office immediately. The receptionist tells him something very convenient. All the executives, Sir Lewis Carter, even Lubar Danko, the receptionist he'd met, they've all left on their vacation. Just like that. Only a skeleton force remaining.
That sounds suspicious. Very suspicious.
Extremely. But then the receptionist finds a note left for Malone. From Sir Lewis Carter himself.
And it says?
It basically confirms everything. What you have deduced is quite correct, and as you can see, that leaves us no alternative. Sorry. He even adds apologies from Luba saying she's joining them. And sure enough, Luba had checked out of her hotel too.
Wow. So the PRS admits it, they caused the chaos, and now they're on the run.
Effectively, yes. They've been found out, and they've vanished, leaving Malone with the who and the how, but the why is still staggering.
So Malone eventually confronts them, right? Burris, Sir Lewis, Luba, finds them at some secluded house.
He does. And Sir Lewis just calmly admits it. Yes, the PRS wrecked civilization, his only critique. They could have done it more smoothly.
Wrecked civilization. To what end? What was the justification?
Their motivation. Stark and terrifying. Some fool was going to start the last war. They believed global conflict was imminent.
The last war. Nuclear annihilation.
That's the implication. The PRS felt they had to intervene to induce this massive confusion, to basically derail the world leaders, the systems, everything, to stop that war from happening.
Okay, that's a motive, I guess. A really extreme one. Wrecking civilization to save it.
It's a chilling rationale, isn't it? But Malone immediately calls them out on the cost.
As he should.
He points out they caused more damage in 2 weeks than all those fumblebrains have been able to do in several myriads of lifetimes. He lists the consequences. The economy shattered, riots, innocent people dead, thousands losing businesses, savings, predicts starvation and murder to follow.
He really lays into them.
And he challenges their justification head-on, especially this horrifying idea Sir Lewis apparently hints at, that maybe all of those people deserve to die.
Jeez, that's playing God on a terrifying scale.
Completely. And how did they do it? Sir Lewis explains they used that telepathic projection Dr. O'Connor mentioned, those short bursts.
The targeted.
Yes, targeted, not random.
Yeah.
They specifically aimed it at people they considered dangerous or incompetent. Fools, idiots, maniacs, blockheads, morons, psychopaths, paranoids, fearmongers, fanatics, thieves. Basically anyone they thought was part of the problem, liable to push the world towards a disaster.
A psychic campaign to enforce incompetence on the bad guys.
That seems to be the idea. Induce errors, confusion, policy reversals in those specific minds at critical moments.
This is already mind-blowing, but there's another twist, isn't there, about Malone himself.
Yes, this is where it gets really personal for Malone. It turns out he wasn't just investigating this psionic phenomenon. He was immune to it.
Immune?
Immune. He's a telepath himself. But crucially, he has a natural mind shield. Something the PRS, with all their combined power, couldn't get through. Luba confirms it. Not all the power of the entire PRS could force anything through your shield.
So he was walking through this psychic storm completely unaffected.
Unknowingly, yes. Until Luba apparently connected with him briefly when he lowered his shield somehow.
Wow. And then comes the final reveal from Burris.
The final betrayal, maybe. Burris confesses the whole thing, Malone's vacation, the investigation. It was all a test.
A test. Burris was in on it.
Deeply in on it. He admits he deliberately lied about the spies, the psychodrugs. He even tried to stop Malone from finding out about his own teleportation.
Why? What was the point of testing Malone?
Two main goals, Burris says. One, they needed to consolidate the other known telepaths, like Her Majesty, the insane ones, to basically clear the psychic air for the PRS operation.
Okay.
And two, they wanted to see if Malone, this untrained but shielded telepath, could figure it all out on his own and ultimately accept the reality of the job the PRS has to do.
So they were trying to recruit him, or at least see if he'd understand, maybe even sympathize with their extreme actions.
Exactly. Burris was manipulating his own agent to gauge his potential alignment with this. Arguably necessary, but definitely brutal intervention.
Leaving Malone grappling with this enormous moral weight was busting up civilization, as he put it, actually safe in the long run. Did it really stop the last war?
That's the question hanging in the air. Did the ends justify these truly horrific means? The PRS believed they were acting out of necessity, a terrible necessity, to prevent something even worse.
It's profound, isn't it? This idea that catastrophic action might be seen as the only way to prevent ultimate catastrophe.
Yeah.
Where is that line?
Did they cross it? Or did they do what had to be done? It forces you to really question the nature of intervention and responsibility.
So this deep dive, it's uncovered this hidden layer of reality, hasn't it? A secret society, the PRS, wielding psychic power on a global scale.
Yeah, orchestrating chaos, wrecking the world as we know it, all, in their minds, to save humanity from itself at a staggering cost.
It's a really chilling reminder, I think, of how fragile our perception of reality might be, how easily things can be manipulated behind the scenes.
Even by groups who genuinely believe they're doing the right thing, acting for the greater good. It makes you question assumptions, doesn't it? Look for deeper patterns behind apparent randomness.
Definitely. And it leaves us with a pretty heavy thought. The PRS saw an existential threat, the last war, and they believed they were the only ones capable of stopping it, using these extreme, covert methods.
Right.
So the question for you, listening, is this. If you faced what you believe was an existential threat, and you somehow had the power to manipulate society like the PRS did, would you use it? Would you make that same choice?
What lines, if any, are absolutely sacred? What should never be crossed, no matter how high the stakes, even for what seems like the greater good?
Something to think about.